5 years ago, India banned TikTok. At that point of time, everyone thought it was just another tech controversy. But in 2026, something much bigger is happening. Governments all over the world are forcing social media platforms to change their ownership, regulating their algorithms, and sometimes even deciding whether they can exist in the first place. The question has now changed from why was TikTok banned to a much broader question of who controls the internet, the government or the tech companies. The relationship between government and social media companies has changed drastically over the past few years. The governments are no longer complaining about social media platforms. All over the world, they are rewriting the rules that govern the internet itself. One of the clearest examples of the shift is happening in the United States. In 2024, the US Congress passed a law called the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act. The idea behind the law was simple. If a social media platform is owned by a company from a country that the US considers a national security risk, the government can force the company to sell its ownership, or the app can be banned entirely. And this law directly targeted TikTok. TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is based in China. So the platform was given a deadline: either restructure ownership or face a nationwide ban. Things get interesting over here because TikTok did not disappear. In January 2026, TikTok announced a major restructuring. A new US entity was created where American investors now hold the majority stake, along with additional oversight mechanisms meant to address national security concerns. In this case, the government didn't just threaten to ban the platform. It forced the company itself to change how it operates. The US is not the only country doing this. Governments all over the world are restructuring social media and regulating it in ways that we've never seen before. In Europe, a major law called the Digital Services Act is now being enforced, and it fundamentally changes how large platforms operate. Under this law, platforms like social media companies must remove illegal content more effectively, assess risks created by their services, explain how their algorithms recommend content, and cooperate with government investigations. Regulators can even demand internal company data and impose huge financial penalties if platforms don't comply. Which means social media platforms are increasingly being treated like regulated digital infrastructure. Governments are not just regulating speech on the internet, they are regulating the algorithms themselves. Because modern social media is not just about what the people post on the internet, but it is rather what the algorithms show to them. All social media algorithms impact what millions of people see every day on their feeds. The regulators now believe these systems can create serious risks, from misinformation to addictive design. That is why some laws now require platforms to investigate how their algorithms work and whether they amplify harmful content. For the first time in digital history, the governments are trying to regulate not just the content posted, but the architecture of the digital platforms in the first place. All of this connects to a bigger idea that is becoming central to technology law today: digital sovereignty. The idea that countries should have the authority to control the digital systems that affect their citizens. That includes where user data is stored, who owns major digital platforms, how algorithms influence public information, and whether companies follow national laws. From the United States forcing TikTok's restructuring to Europe regulating algorithms, governments are increasingly asserting control over the digital ecosystem. So when people talk about the TikTok ban, they talk about it like one isolated controversy. But it was only the first step in something much bigger. The internet is no longer a borderless space dominated by major tech companies, but it's becoming a regulated global infrastructure. And the legal rules being written right now will determine how the internet will look like for the future generations. And the real question here is not whether the government can control social media, but rather how much control they should have.